Okay. Who have we got? Have we got our next guest? Let's kick off the day. It's my pleasure, and I'm thinking, is he around? Someone shout at me saying he's around, yeah? I'm sure he's around. Hopefully, because this will be embarrassing if I introduce him, he doesn't walk on. So, let's kick off the day. So this guy, he doesn't think he's a legend at EXP, but he really is a legend at EXP. He was at the very first launch party in 2019 at the Hamyard Hotel, and there was a bowling alley under the Hamyard Hotel, and he was standing in the corner. I'd been down to see him. I'm going to steal his thunder in a minute, so I'll stop talking. But and I actually wasn't sure how he would get on with this model. He'd only been at another company for 4 years, and he jumped into EXP. And I genuinely wasn't sure. But after a very short period of time, those uncertainties completely vanished because he has absolutely smashed it. I won't steal his thunder because he can tell you himself, but suffice to say, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet, but he's an absolute beast of an agent in South Wales and around the world. It is, of course, our very own Christopher Abraham. Where is Chris? There he is. Good man. Just press that button there.
Okay, cool.
You might have to get closer. All right. Yeah, the mic there.
Morning, all. I did this speech a few weeks ago in Lisbon, but it was a lot bigger venue, and this is quite intense, so please bear with me for a few minutes. It's been a disastrous start to the morning. My lift phoned me at 4:30 and said he couldn't make it, and then it was a choice of the van that doesn't fit into the car park or the electric car that wasn't charged. So I've managed to get you with about 5 minutes to spare, so if I'm out of breath, please excuse me. Not my favourite graphic, if I'm honest. Not just the photo, which is dodgy, but building my estate agency empire. For anyone who knows me, that's not my title. This is about building my business, building my brand. You can hear the people who built their empire later in the day and later tomorrow when Stephen Bartlett comes on, but this is just a normal estate agent's journey for the next 10 minutes or so, which hopefully some of you will be able to relate to. So who is this guy on stage? I know there's a few friendly faces, there's a few new faces out there, but I'll just delve into a little bit of background because some of you won't know who the hell I am, to be honest. You're here to watch Victoria Pendleton and Stephen Bartlett, but I'm the agent on the stage, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of background, broken up with a bit of photos, just about my journey with EXP so far. And it all starts with the family. So my eldest boy is the one with the buzz cut there, Seth, in the photo. He's out in Canada at the minute. He's just been a bit emotional for myself and Leanne. He's left home for the first time, and he's out in Canada, teaching in Camp Canada for the summer, and we're really, really proud of him. My twins, Toby and Bo, either side, they're going through their A-levels at the minute. First year, just finished their first year. Thanks to Claire, I can't see Claire obviously, but thanks to Claire Hughes for her help with that. I'm travelling around the country every weekend trying to find them universities that'll take them and that kind of stuff. And there's little Leo and Leanne, my wife. Leo's 9. Leanne and Leo are moving to Spain in September. Leanne does so much for my business. She does everything apart from the easy bit, which is sitting in the living room selling houses. She was going to be here, but because of the move, she can't, so I'm a bit gutted about that. But that's the reason we do it, and that's the reason that we keep on going, I suppose. That clock is ticking down really quickly, so I'll push on. So I suppose, for those of you who don't know me, this bit is important to you. Why have I been asked just to share my journey? So I'm 2 houses off being icon for the 3rd time. My year runs to December, so what that means is from next week until December, EXP take next to nothing off me for any of my completions. So that's a really important milestone for me, and it's something I always wanted to do. When we first heard the numbers and things, it just seemed like an impossible target, but there's so many guys, but when you're with this model, for those of you who are new to it, there's so many good guys around you, like Mark and Amy and Tony and Ali, and there's so many more others who just push you to be better and drive you and help you. So set your own targets, but there's lots of support around you. I had a really good year in 2022. We won lots of different awards and things like that, and I've now sold over, I think it's 465 houses with EXP since we started. So if you have got questions about the model, if you are new to it, then I've sold as many as most. And if I can help you over the next couple of days, hopefully in the bar after this, then, you know, I'm more than happy to chat about it. I was the #1 international agent in 2022. And I think you've got Mark Buchanan and Amy Brooks here as well this weekend, who are currently the #1 agent. So there's a wealth of experience for people to pick brains and share ideas and collaborate to drive their businesses forward. And teams we'll get on to a little bit later. Adam won't mind me saying this. I was one of the ones that was pushing Adam at the time about, well, what does this look like now? Because we're hitting all these targets and there's nothing really much more to do. So we pushed him to bring teams into the UK, and as I said, we'll touch on that in a little bit. That's the Christmas party 2022. We had a really good night that night, and as I said, I'm just breaking this up with a few photos from time to time. My agency journey is relatively short, I would guess, compared to most of you. I've only been in it about 7 or 8 years. I've always worked with Leanne. We've always been self-employed. And there was just a natural end to one of our businesses. And I decided to retrain in real estate at 43 in 2017. And it was with a company called Purple Bricks. I'm sure there are a number of ex-Purple Bricks agents in the audience. And to be honest, it was a fantastic experience. The first 2 years, 18 months, the front end of that business, when Purple Bricks was flying, the presentation of properties, the online presence, how to look after your customers, everything was right, apart from the back end and post-sales and that kind of stuff. And we just decided then, after 2 or 3 years, we were running around like lunatics, like anyone who's worked for Purple Bricks or Yopa would understand. We were making a lot of money, and we felt there was an opportunity to do something different. So we started researching self-employed models. Now, they're a lot more prevalent now. You'll see EXP, Keller Williams, numerous others all over LinkedIn and other places. But at that time, it was pretty much Keller Williams were most established in the UK. And then this guy called Adam Day just kept rambling on to me about EXP, and it was going to be the next big thing. And I went to meet Keller Williams in the market centre, and it just felt like a cult. It just felt like totally wrong in terms of they almost wanted you to dress the same way and follow the same process and everything else. And as you guys who are sitting here know, who've walked this walk, as long as we're compliant, we can do what we want to do, and we can run our own businesses in our own way. And when I met Adam, he kindly drove down to Cardiff to meet me. When I met Adam, it just felt like the right fit, and we went at it on a whim, jumped in, and never looked back, really. Slide is not working. That's the launch party in London. Brilliant night. There's probably only about 50 of us there that night. And I guess I'm preaching to the converted here, but events are what it's all about. If you bring yourself to these, there's only 50 there. There's only 50 there. This room will never be as small again, as he said, and you're in the right place. So we joined in 2019. I was the 31st agent to join, and I listed my first house in 2020. We sold 3 houses, and COVID hit, and it was like, oh shit, what do we do now? Because I've had 4 children under 15 at that time, all in full-time education. I had a mortgage to pay, a wife to support, and I had to take a job to support the family. Now, this is a conversation I still have with people today. There's so many good agents that just won't do that and be a waiter or be a whatever it takes, to make the first 3 or 4 months when you're building your pipeline. Do not put yourself under pressure. I took a job in Amazon. And as stupid as that photo is, there's a reason that's on there. I worked in Amazon for 3 months whilst trying to secure my pipeline. So I was basically doing 40 hours a week, 4 days on, 3 days off. Brutal. For everyone in this room uses Amazon, I would think. Total respect for any of those parcels that get through your door, because it is a brutal environment and a really tough experience. I wouldn't go back, and I don't think I would have lasted much longer. But that's the day that I left Amazon, and it's a photo that's really important to me because it was the real start of my EXP journey. This clicker's a bit... I don't know what's happening with this clicker, sorry. Brand. So my business has been mainly built through social media. There are other ways of doing it. And like a theme that I want to get over to people at this point is, when we see those league tables every week, and when we see this, and when we see, there's more than one way to run your business. Your business is your business, and you should never compare yourself to anyone else. And I think that comes across then when you're projecting yourself to vendors and things. Mine was social media, Facebook primarily. I take my hat off to anyone who can knock a door, because I certainly couldn't do that. But you find what's right for you, you learn from others, and then you pick your path to go forward. Being genuine, being yourself. I think being yourself is the number one thing. Don't try to copy anyone else. Just be who you are, and people will buy into that. If your content is good and varied, people will trust you. If people trust you, they'll instruct you. The van's another bit of a stupid photo, but it's been so important to me. It's probably, I tried to work this out the other day, and it's probably about 50 grand's worth of fees attached directly to that van. People coming up to me in a car park, knocking the window and saying, "Are you Chris?" And it's like, yeah, no shit, it's written across the van, I'm Chris. But, you know, it directly leads to instruction. So you think about your presence and attracting the Facebook, then the van, then the football club I used to sponsor, and the football team I coach, and you're just tapping into people in different ways all of the time, and subconsciously, you're not selling, you're just sort of promoting yourself, I guess. Revenue share. Now, I'm not sure if Scott's here, but I'm looking directly at Ben, so I shouldn't really be talking about revenue share for too long, but it's a slow starter for me. I wanted to understand this process. I wanted to walk the walk before I actually started to tell people about revenue share. There's 21 people in my revenue share group now. So I'm sort of pivoting my business from that. It's hard to do Icon, and it's hard to sort of reach the levels that Ben, Scott, and Claire, and people like that have with revenue share. But I see the future now in terms of, I don't want to be, I'm 50, I don't want to be selling houses for the rest of my life, and revenue share, and a little bit I'll come on to in a few seconds, but I know I'm out of time actually, but revenue share, if you don't talk to people about this, there's more public awareness, there's more agent awareness, and if you don't tell your friends and your colleagues about this, somebody else will. So even if you need to include your sponsor in those conversations, if somebody's open to an opportunity, then revenue share is definitely becoming more important than ever to me. It's just some of the guys in my revenue share group. I think Stuart's let me down today, so bad man Stuart at 4:30 this morning, because I really struggled for the last couple of hours. Mel's here, I know Mel's here, I haven't seen her yet, but Mel's just become one of the latest teams in the UK, so congratulations to Mel Anderson, because she's just built a business from nothing on her own, with kids and everything, and is absolutely smashing it in Swansea. And Annie on the bottom left decided to watch Avril Lavigne instead of coming to see us, so maybe next time for Annie. Teams, so two things with teams. I'll go quickly through teams because the clock is on 0. The two elements for teams is, one is your own Rightmove profile, as you probably know. So if you qualify for teams, cap plus 20, I believe, then you get your own Rightmove profile. That, I think Adam's done some stats and some research on that, and it's like a 30% increase in business because you're having your own Rightmove profile. I know he's just talked about other ways of doing it with banners and stuff, but Teams has been not monumental, but certainly a huge difference to the business just by being up there alongside Peter Allen or Peyton Jewel Keynes or whoever. Chris Abrams there now, not EXP. So that's something to think about. And then by bringing other people in, you can also bring less experienced agents in without the 2 years experience, and you mentor them, but they grow your brand whilst growing their own as well. But teams is probably a conversation later in the conference. And there's Alicia, that's my team member, Alicia. So Alicia sells houses with my name on her board, and I help Alicia with support and everything else because she wasn't quite ready to go out on her own. So what's next for me? And I touched on it briefly just then, and I've literally just bought this property in Spain, in a place called La Cala de Mijas. I've got a 5-year plan that I have to have a 5-year plan because the UK stupidly left the EU, so I need a visa to work in Spain. I have to earn 80% of my money in the UK for the next 5 years, and then I can apply for Spanish residency. So Leanne and Leo, my little one, they are moving to Spain in September. He starts school in La Cala in about 8 weeks' time. I'm going to run my business from the UK and commute out to Bristol Airport and Cardiff Airport Thursday to Monday or whatever it looks like. And hopefully, with the increase in revenue share, we change and pivot the business. So that might be my last ever Icon Award, but I'll always be a massive part of this EXP family because I see huge potential. And it's just like, for those of you just starting out, right, my dad passed away in November, and we went on a massive holiday that was pre-booked for my mother-in-law's 70th, just after the funeral. My business was non-existent for 8 to 12 weeks. My what's the word? Pipelines. The pipelines that everyone talks about every Thursday. I'm normally up there at the top somewhere. I always have been, although there's no chance of getting anyone near Tony Ruby or anyone like that anymore. But it flatlined. It was 2010 or whatever it was. And I've just worked my ass off now for the last 6 months, getting it back to where it should be. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if we standing still, we're going backwards, and we need to be challenging ourselves into going forwards and driving our businesses. And that, for me, is Spain next. So I don't know what this looks like. I certainly won't be speaking in the Spanish conference because my Duolingo is chasing me all the time to keep on with the app. But appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. I hope there's something in there for some of you. And if anybody wants to chat, I'll be at the bar later on. And enjoy your next few days.